primer lanzamiento rodado de frente al pitcher, toma la pelota, tira la primera. ¡Out! ¡Se acabó el juego! Diablos Rojos le acaba de lanzar. Juego perfecto al Águila de Veracruz en la Liga Mexicana de Softbol.
Vince Lombardi decía que la perfección no era alcanzable, pero que si perseguimos la perfección, alcanzaremos la excelencia. Megan Faraimo, la primera mujer en lanzar un juego perfecto en la historia de la Liga Mexicana de Softbol.
I thought that was incredible, not just for myself, but for this team. I always think that no team is the exact same year to year. So for this specific team to come together, I mean, there's great defensive plays, the offense did their job to not only win that game, but to be perfect. I think we made our mark on history for Diablos as an organization and also the league. So that was just, I can't even express, it was awesome, it was incredible.
El primer juego perfecto se registra en Boca del Río, en el Beto Ávila. Diablos frente al Águila de Veracruz, ganando 6-0.
No, I definitely wasn't trying to. I knew, I had a feeling that I was in the fourth inning, but all I wanted to do was make sure the other team didn't score. I just wanted to do my job. But no, and I also find that when I do have those thoughts of like trying to throw a perfect game or a no-hitter or going for anything like that, it never really happens. So I'm glad I didn't think of that day. I forced myself to keep it simple, to not make it a pressure thing. One, I think pressure is a privilege, and two, it's something that we can control. I remember communicating with Mia throughout every inning just to make sure my mind was focused on something other than a perfect game. But again, the sole purpose was for me to make sure there was a 0 at the end of that game. I didn't care how I did it, I just wanted to make sure that I did my job. Probably. I mean, I think it just comes with the game. I also think it comes with success, and this team is doing really well. So there's certain pressures that come with that, but again, we're very privileged to be sitting in that position, and I think pressure is a good thing. I think it only makes us stronger and it brings out the best competition.
Megan Faraimo, nacida el 14 de julio del 2000 en San Diego, California, es una destacada lanzadora de softball estadounidense de ascendencia samoana y hawaiana. Faraimo jugó para la Universidad de California en Los Ángeles, UCLA, de 2019 a 2023, donde se consolidó como una de las grandes lanzadoras de la NCAA. Durante su tiempo en UCLA, logró un récord de 101 victorias y 16 derrotas, con una efectividad de carreras limpias permitidas de 1.44. Entre sus logros destacados se incluyen campeona de la Serie Mundial Universitaria Femenil en 2019, reconocida en el equipo All-American en múltiples ocasiones, pitcher del año en el 2020 y pitcher del año del Pac-12 en 2022 y 2023. Tras su exitosa etapa universitaria, Faraimo continuó su carrera profesional en Japón, con los Toyota Red Terriers, antes de unirse a los Diablos Rojos del México en 2025. En el ámbito internacional, ha representado a Estados Unidos en diversas competencias, obteniendo una medalla de oro en la Copa Mundial de Softball Sub-19 en 2019 y una medalla de plata en la Copa Mundial de Softball en 2024. Su legado ha continuado, ya que el 26 de enero de 2025, Faraimo hizo historia al lanzar el primer juego perfecto en la Liga Mexicana de Softbol, enfrentando y retirando a las 21 bateadoras que enfrentó con 12 ponches en 7 entradas. Con su impresionante trayectoria y habilidades excepcionales, Megan Faraimo continúa dejando una huella significativa en el mundo del softball a nivel internacional.
My earliest memory, I don't know why this one just came to mind. I think it reminds me that, it reminds me how intense I've always been about softball. I remember for some reason, I was in rec ball, maybe like around 7. And my older brother and I got in a fight. Like, we used to butt heads a lot, obviously all siblings do. We were in a fight, and I just remember yelling at him like, why are you doing this? I have a game later today and I've got to focus, I've got to pitch. And it's like, you're 7 years old, like you can barely get it across the plate. Why are you freaking out? But I don't know, I think ever since I was little, I've always had this passion about what I do, and I was always very intense about it. So I can't even remember if I would do good or bad. I just remember loving it so much and pouring my all into the sport. I think that it's always a challenge. Going to college, that was my first time away from family, and I was still only like 2 hours away. And then going and playing in Japan, that was a world away. Now that I'm here in Mexico, I feel better because I'm from San Diego, so I'm still close to home, but it definitely has its challenges for sure. And I've had to make so many adjustments. It's really great for me. I take everything as a challenge and only as a way for me to get better. When I went to college, that was my first time leveling up. When you're a freshman, you're 18 playing like 23, 24-year-olds. So just forcing yourself to get to the next level, I think that was the biggest challenge in college. Going to Japan, everyone just hits way differently than what I had experienced in America. I think there's a lot of powerful swingers, and in Japan, they really just try to contact the ball, which was hard for me. And then coming here, I feel like I get a little bit of a mix of both. I've definitely, as a pitcher, had to adjust. I think I've had to use pitches that I'm not always comfortable with, but again, I think that's just making me better. So it's really cool being able to see different kinds of batters.
Faraimo ya todo era un trámite porque estaba hecho un demonio ahí auténticamente en el círculo.
The process was tough. When I was going through recruiting, the rules were a little bit different. They could recruit at a very young age. I think I'm very lucky that my parents had encouraged me to wait. I had already had the idea. I was gonna wait until I was at least a sophomore in high school to commit somewhere. I wanted to make sure that the decision was one that I thought through well and thoroughly. But I will say, when I did decide on UCLA, it was like I had a feeling, a click in my heart, click in my brain, like this is where I need to go. It's the perfect place for me. Education, I would get my degree, I would play high-level softball, and I'd be surrounded by great people. The process was definitely tough, but so worth it. Well, if I think of my family specifically, guys, I'm okay. I'm living my best life. My family has taught me everything I think that I need to know. My mom and I talk about roots and wings. My parents and my family have given me my roots, and I feel like my wings are in flight now. I get to do what I love. To the fans, I would love to I wish I could thank every single one of them. To me, it's mind-blowing that I'm out here doing what I love to do. Like, I would do this just because, and they've paid money and they've bought our jerseys and have our hats, and they're so in love with this organization and this sport. I really wish that I could just individually thank every single one of them and let them know how much they mean to me, that it's more than just signing a ball. Like, man, no, you guys are a huge part of this as well.
De Oceanside, California, Megan Faraimo, licenciada en Ciencias Políticas. Orgullosa de graduarse con buenas calificaciones y jugar a buen nivel en la universidad. Orgullosa también de firmar su primer contrato profesional y ser parte del equipo nacional de los Estados Unidos.
I don't really know much about the Mexican League before now. I know that they were playing, for sure, that I know that women were playing because I got to see some of the posts. But beyond what I've experienced this year, I don't know much. I will say, though, to me, it's obvious that people had been practicing and playing and competing, because getting into this league now, I think it is pretty competitive, and there have been really great games. There's a few reasons. Steffi Aradia, she reached out to me. She's a huge reason why I'm here, her and her family. I felt comfortable being around them. I thought that I would be taken care of. And then to learn the history of Diablos baseball as an organization was really great and something that I wanted to be a part of, but to know that they have a hand in this league as well, and the first time that this league is obviously here, I just wanted to be a part of history. And then, of course, looking at the fans every day and seeing all the little girls that dream of being here is a really big motivator as well. It's been really great. I will say I'm not the best at Spanish. It's improving like barely, so the conversations have gotten a little better, but everyone is so great. All of my teammates, the staff, everyone is very kind, and they have really good energy that I appreciate. So even if we don't speak the same language, I still feel pretty close to them. My experience with the fans has been really, really good. All of them stay for autographs or just to meet us after, and to me, it makes my heart really happy to know that there's so many people that enjoy this sport and that find true joy in watching us play and perform for them. So to know that they're encouraging us all the way and that they're always gonna bring the energy, like we feel that on the field, and it's a huge part of our success is what they give us. So being able to meet them and to enjoy all of this with them is really cool.
Bienvenidos al paraíso de los Diablos Rojos del México.
I guess it would be hard to measure, but for me, every time I play a season or every time I play with a team, I just want to make sure that I'm learning as much as I can, and by the end of the season, I'm better than the pitcher I was when I first came in. So, I mean, if that amounts to like 5 perfect games, great. If not, great. As long as I feel that I've honed in on my craft and developed my skills, I'll feel awesome. Do I want a championship though? Absolutely. That's definitely a personal and a team goal, but I'm just looking to get better. I guess I never really realized impact, especially my own, until after the fact. So I'm sure when I'm reflecting on the season, I'll think it's really cool. But I think I'm really good at being present. So as of right now, my bottom line is winning. I want to win a ball game. And doesn't matter who we're playing, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter if it's a perfect game that does it, I just want to win. I don't think that I'll realize the impact, if any, until the end. I know that altitude is here and I know that altitude is real, but I just keep telling myself to like not pay it any mind, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to throw a strike, you're gonna have to get outs. So I don't know how much it helps me to make that like something an obstacle for myself. I haven't noticed it too bad. Then again, like the first game, I'm pretty sure I gave up like 2 home runs, so maybe that was my adjustment period.
Comenzaba todo Megan Faraimo y lanzando una mujer como Faraimo, no cabe duda que ahí se abría el camino, y de esta manera continuaba el dominio de Faraimo. Bonita jugada.
I wouldn't say special training. I think I've had to be very mindful that I keep my regimen up. I think it's really easy, especially in a season where you play so many games, to, I guess, pitch yourself out of shape. That's something Coach Lisa used to tell me all the time at UCLA, is to make sure we're not playing our way out of shape. So I still have to do the same training, the same conditioning, and I think the coaching staff and Marcello, everyone does a really good job of making sure we're on top of that.
And talking about the hard games, when a game does not go how you expect, how do you recover emotionally in order to continue forward?
That's a great question, because we just came off of a couple of losses, and they were pretty tough losses. I think for me, emotionally, it's been helpful to have someone to talk to, which has been some of the other foreigners on our team. It's been great to just hear what they have to say and how they process things. Another thing that I like is journaling. I journal after a really good game and a really bad game, just so that after my really good games, I know exactly what I was thinking, so I can get back to that space. And after my bad games, there's somewhere to put all of those emotions so that I can eventually, hopefully, recover fast and make it logical to see what steps I need to take to get better. I think it's important for me not to get too hype too early. I like to time it just right so that everything you guys see on the field is all of my energy. before the game, I'm usually listening to music or even like reading a book just to make sure my brain stays pretty neutral. I have a lot of goals. I have goals that you can touch and feel, and then I have other goals that are maybe a little more personal. I would say a huge part of my why in playing international softball is to grow this sport globally and to represent all the Polynesian girls that maybe have this dream. But now that I'm here, I'm thinking of all the girls here in Mexico that might want to play, but it was never really reality for them until now. I want to be a good role model. That's one of my goals. I also think growing this sport and making sure it's sustainable is good for the future Olympics, not just 2028, but beyond that. So I have a lot. I have quite a few. I think as an athlete, there's always the side of performance. So I could tell you about the biggest game of my life that I lost last year, or I could tell you about the times where being an athlete is so frustrating, especially playing this sport. And maybe even I would say being a pitcher is really hard. You can lose the ball game in one pitch. You have to be so mentally strong to keep going. I'll say one of the most frustrating things for me was I had a really tough season. Couldn't go to Women's College World Series with my team. Felt terrible. Basically, like, did a 180 of my life. Didn't falter after that. I could have let the failure. I could have quit, but I didn't. I kept going. Then to keep going and to realize that just because you keep going doesn't mean you're not gonna fail. To keep going, to come out stronger and then fail again, lose a game again, that was really hard for me. Something that I learned in that, though, is this game is just so, and you have to accept being here just as much as you have to accept being here. And it's all gonna come and go. So that's something I'm still learning. Very frustrating moment. But yeah, that was probably the hardest. I never felt like a representative of my culture really until college, until I realized the stage that God had given me to be that for them. I think being on TV is a huge part of that, and media coverage and exposure. It wasn't until then that I understood I had a serious responsibility to do my best to not only represent this sport well and how to play the game right, but to represent my culture to everyone else involved in this sport and whoever I would come into contact with. So I do feel like it's a big responsibility, and it's one that I welcome every day.
In sport and out of it, who's your hero?
I have so many. I think my first and like the obvious answer in my head is my mom. She's a workaholic, but also someone who's very in tune with herself and aware, and she's helped me grow in a lot of ways. But there's been multiple people that have come in my life that have left an impression on me and have made true impact, like especially all of the women. Like my agent is someone else that I really look up to and admire. Even the girls on this team, Jazz Jackson, I played with her a little bit when I was younger, but now that we're both older and getting to play together again, I've learned a lot from her, and I just really appreciate how graceful they all are in sharing. The person I admire most is Kobe Bryant. Try to model my mindset after him as much as I can. I think he was on another level, but a level that I strive to be at. He was, if we're going back to heroes, I've never met him, but he was definitely one of mine as well.
All season, I was just waiting for my opportunity to come. I wanted to prove that I was better than they thought I was. You know, I wanted to prove to myself that I'm better than they think I was. And I was mentally preparing myself and visualizing the moment that would come where
I've always said I want to be remembered as a good teammate. I want people to know that, especially the way that my career is going now with playing internationally and being with the team for 3 months and then never being on the same team again. I just want to make sure that people know all I want to do is play this game the right way and inspire as many people as I can. And that because of that, and with that, I'll take care of them, and I only want the best for them. I think that every single person on this earth is capable of greatness, and I believe in every single one of my teammates so much. And I just hope that they feel that. I hope by the end of my career, all of my teammates can say, like, man, she really believed in me. She really poured into me. She really poured into the sport. And I guess my message would be that if there's anything I've learned up until this point, I'm sure there's more to learn. But I think there's two things that it's gonna take is dreaming big, like whatever your dreams are now, dream bigger, think brighter. And the second thing is having the courage to chase after that dream. I believe that if it's put in your head, if a vision is put in your head, then you have the potential to see it through. So that means if you dream really, really big, one day it can definitely happen. You just have to have the courage to go for it.
Megan Faraimo, el ejemplo para niños y niñas de que la perfección sí se puede alcanzar. Esto fue el Juego Perfecto.